Let me guess. You've been called too intense, overthinking, or living in your head more times than you can count. You've learned to hide parts of yourself because when you've tried to explain how your mind works, people either don't get it or think you're being dramatic. If that resonated with you, you're among friends. As a fellow INFJ, I'm about to validate 8 experiences that feel completely natural to us, but confuse the other 98% of the population. In the next 15 minutes, I'll put words to experiences you've had your entire life, but couldn't quite name. Understanding these patterns helps transform that persistent feeling of being an outsider into something more powerful: self-awareness. Before we start, please hit the like button, comment, and subscribe so you won't miss any of our weekly deep dives into the world of personality types. And if you are looking to achieve a deeper understanding of yourself and your personality type, click the link in the comments to take our favorite free personality test. Number 1. Emotional Archaeology. Excavating the past for hidden meaning. Have you ever found yourself replaying a conversation from 3 years ago, not just remembering what was said, but analyzing all the subtle factors that might have influenced the interaction? This isn't random overthinking. It's what I call emotional archaeology, and it's something many INFJs do naturally, though others often find it strange or excessive. While most people experience a memory as a simple snapshot, INFJs experience it as a multidimensional excavation site filled with layers of meaning. Last week, I found myself analyzing a friend's coffee meeting from months ago. In it, she briefly looked away when discussing her new job, a detail that gained profound significance when she later revealed her workplace anxiety. For INFJs, the past isn't just history, it's a living laboratory where patterns emerge across time. We don't just remember events, we catalog them, cross-reference them with other experiences, and extract the psychological DNA that connects seemingly unrelated moments, revealing consistent responses that help us understand others at a deeper level. This pattern seeking goes beyond simple reflection. According to personality research, INFJs possess a unique combination of introverted intuition and extroverted feelings that creates pattern recognition focused specifically on human behavior and emotional undercurrents. This helps us understand why people, including ourselves, behave the way they do. Number 2. The comfort of controlled chaos. Creating order within complexity. The same intuitive pattern recognition that connects disparate emotional experiences transforms how we organize our physical world. When someone sees chaos at your desk, they're witnessing the external manifestation of your internal thought process. In this system, items aren't arranged by category, but by their emotional and intuitive connections to each other. Picture your workspace, papers scattered in seemingly random piles, sticky notes adhering to unexpected surfaces. It appears as organizational anarchy to others. Still, to you, it's a symphony of thought where every element occupies its perfect place. You can instantly locate that specific blue sticky note with the phone number you jotted down 3 weeks ago, because in your mind, it's connected to the conversation that inspired a project idea. Society pushes us toward linear organization, alphabetized files, color-coded tabs, and neatly categorized information. This approach feels suffocating to the INFJ mind. We develop personalized cognitive architecture, organizing systems based on emotional significance and conceptual relationships that remain invisible to others. Research confirms that intuitive personality types prefer nonlinear thinking patterns that manifest in unique organizational methods. These appear as visual mapping systems, items where ideas connect through colors and images, or thematic organizations, where items are grouped based on emotional relevance rather than traditional categories. The person who comments, "How can you find anything in this mess?" completely misses the sophisticated system at work. Your arrangements follow clear, intuitive threads that honor your internal complexity. Number 3. Parasocial relationship mastery. Emotional bonds with the non-physical. Just as we arrange our physical spaces according to invisible emotional connections, INFJs develop relationships that transcend conventional boundaries of time and space. What others might dismiss as getting too attached to fictional characters reveals one of our most sophisticated emotional abilities, forming meaningful bonds with entities we've never physically encountered. Have you ever found yourself grieving for a fictional character's death as if if you'd lost an actual friend. Like emotional reflecting pools, these characters mirror aspects of ourselves we're trying to understand. For INFJs, these connections aren't escapism, they're essential experiences facilitating our psychological growth. This relationship dynamic extends beyond fiction to historical figures, public personalities, and abstract ideals. Where pragmatic types see impractical fantasy, we extract genuine meaning from these non-physical relationships. The philosopher who lived centuries ago might provide more relevant counsel to an INFJ than their contemporary peers. These parasocial bonds function as emotional laboratories, safe spaces to explore complex feelings without the complications inherent in physical relationships. This exploration becomes crucial for understanding human behavior, helping us navigate our real-world relations more effectively and deeply. Number 4. Shadow self-exploration. Finding comfort in the darkness. These parasocial connections eventually lead us inward, where INFJs encounter perhaps their strangest fascination, a genuine curiosity about their darkness. Just as we form deep connections with distant figures, we feel compelled to explore our internal shadows, those parts that, when properly understood, reveal the most authentic version of ourselves. Most people have been trained to practice what psychologists call toxic positivity, the belief that we should maintain positive emotions while rejecting negative ones. According to research by Dr. Susan David, this approach diminishes emotional agility. INFJs instinctively recognize this fallacy. We're naturally drawn to examining our less flattering traits, the flash of judgment, twinge of envy, or resentment that surfaces when our boundaries are crossed. Where others see shameful flaws, INFJs see valuable data points. I once explored intense jealousy after a colleague received recognition, discovering through journaling how this emotion connected to deeper patterns of seeking validation. This wasn't self-flagellation, it was exploration with purpose. This shadow work manifests in private, journals filled with emotional autopsies, meditation sessions focused on uncomfortable feelings, or conversations with trusted confidants. What makes this practice particularly strange to others is our willingness to acknowledge these darker aspects without the customary shame or defensiveness. Number 5. Intellectual isolation rituals. Creating sacred thought spaces. From internal shadow exploration to external boundaries, have you ever noticed how fiercely you protect specific spaces or times in your day? These aren't simply preferences, but psychological necessities that most people fundamentally misunderstand, often interpreting as rejection what is a form of mental preservation. INFJs create intellectual isolation rituals, carefully crafted sanctuaries that incubate our complex thought processes. Different environments significantly affect our intuitive thinking. Research shows we need specific settings that promote focus and creativity, like quiet coffee shops or serene outdoor spaces. These environments allow us to absorb human connection energy while remaining mentally detached, the perfect balance for our contradictory needs. What others might call weird behavior, driving 30 minutes to a specific library corner, booking a hotel room just to think, or waking up at 4 a.m. to write in perfect silence, are sophisticated cognitive strategies. These aren't acts of social avoidance, but strategic mental positioning. These boundaries improve our social functioning. When we say, "I need time alone," we gather resources to be our best selves later. Number 6. Empathic time. Warping. Living in multiple emotional timelines. Those carefully created external boundaries protect more than our energy. They provide safe spaces for one of our strangest cognitive experiences to unfold. The truth is, most people experience time as a straight line. At the same time, INFJs exist in multiple emotional timelines simultaneously, creating a complex temporal web where a decade-old memory carries the same emotional intensity as this morning's coffee. This emotional time warping extends to future scenarios too. When considering a job change, we emotionally inhabit multiple potentials simultaneously, feeling the disappointment of failure alongside the satisfaction of success. This nonlinear time perception enhances our pattern recognition abilities. By experiencing emotions across different timelines, we identify connections others miss, connections based on emotional resonance rather than chronological order. This ability quality creates significant challenges. When others see us seemingly distracted or overly emotional, we navigate an intricate web of emotional connections spanning years or decades. Our temporal processing makes perfect sense to us, but appears strange to those experiencing time more linearly. Number 7. Silent revolution, planning, mental blueprints for systemic change. That distracted look in an INFJ's eyes isn't always about processing emotional timelines. Sometimes we're silently drafting blueprints for societal transformation. Have you ever found yourself mentally redesigning entire educational systems while standing in the shower, or reimagining healthcare delivery while waiting for coffee? That's not random daydreaming. It's what psychologists call systems thinking in action, and it's particularly pronounced in INFJs. While most people worry about today's to-do list, we're constructing detailed mental architecture for social systems. Picture an INFJ folding laundry while mentally designing classroom configurations that foster both collaboration and individual growth. Our minds build frameworks accounting for human motivation, resource allocation, implementation timelines, and resistance points. We've anticipated practical objections because we've been running these simulations for months. Research on intuitive types shows that mental modeling activates our brain's default mode network during creative problem solving. This explains why routine tasks trigger our most revolutionary thinking. When our conscious mind relaxes, our intuitive systems thinking transforms into a cognitive drafting table. These cognitive exercises prepare us to implement meaningful change, helping us identify where minor adjustments might create ripple effects throughout the systems we navigate daily. Number 8. Emotional alchemy, transforming personal pain into universal wisdom. Those ripple effects we create in external systems mirror another INFJ capability that often confuses others: our ability to transmute personal suffering into collective wisdom. While most people process painful experiences primarily for closure, INFJs instinctively transform emotional wounds into universal insights that transcend our individual stories. Research from trauma psychologists suggests that approximately 70% of people engage with difficult emotions through what's called self-referential processing, focusing on how the experience affects them personally and seeking individual healing. In contrast, INFJs naturally progress to what researchers term integrative meaning-making, where personal pain becomes raw material for understanding broader human conditions. I experienced this after a devastating friendship ended. The raw grief gradually evolved into a workshop on attachment patterns that helped others navigate similar losses, illustrating how personal suffering becomes collective wisdom. Viktor Frankl's insight that suffering ceases to be suffering at the moment it finds a meaning perfectly captures the essence of this INFJ emotional alchemy. This isn't philosophical rhetoric, but a lived cognitive process where we create meaning architectures that connect individual suffering to our shared human experience. Your unique, powerful advantages as an INFJ, from deep intuition and empathy to pattern recognition and thoughtful analysis, aren't weird quirks to hide. They're sophisticated cognitive tools that give you unique strengths in understanding human complexity. Research shows that your cognitive diversity enhances team problem solving, complementing conventional thinking styles with innovative solutions. When you embrace these aspects of yourself, you transform what society labels as strange into what they are: specialized forms of intelligence our world desperately needs. The qualities that make you feel misunderstood allow you to understand others with remarkable depth. Share in the comments how your INFJ traits have become your greatest strengths. Let's celebrate these evolutionary advantages together. If you want to continue the journey to understanding yourself or an INFJ in your life, click either of the following videos where we continue to unlock the secrets of the INFJ personality type.